नविना भावै लिंगम नविना लिंगेन भाव संसिद्धि लिंगाक्षो भावाक्षस तस्माद् द्विविधे प्रवर्तता सर्ग. Now he says, Navina bhavai lingam, without the bhavas. Bhavas here means dharma, adharma, etc. Lingam. Linga, sharir, sukshma sharir. Yes. Sukshma sharir cannot take the form of devas or manushyas or the animal world. What is called tiryak yoni, tairyak yoni. Yuktidipika says, Navina bhavai lingam deva manushya tiryak bhavena vyavatishthate iti vakya shesha. That is, linga stays in the form of Deva, Manusha and Tiryak Bhava. Navina Bhava Sansiddhi. Sansiddhi atra Nishpatti Abhipreta. Sansiddhi means Nishpatti, accomplishment. Right? And without Linga there cannot be Bhava. Bhavas cannot be accomplished without Linga Sharira. Therefore arises two kinds of world, Lingaksho Bhavakshas Tasmat Dvividhe Pravartase Sarga. Therefore two kinds of world, two types of world arises, Lingaksha and Bhavaksha. One is of Bhava type, Dharma, Adharma, etc. and one is of Linga Sharir type. Bhav, Abhav and Linga Sharir type. These two kinds of words emerges. From which it emerges? From Purush and Prakriti Sannidhya. Right? Because the question is it Dharma, Adharma which lead to, Prakriti Purush Sannidhan? But then Yuktidipika replies that Dharma, Adharma are the bhavas of Buddhi. If Dharma, Adharma are to precede Prakriti Purusha Sanyoga, then that means that what belongs to Buddhi, which is a vikar of Prakriti Purusha Sannidhana, Buddhi that is Mahat, which is an evolute of Prakriti, it precedes Prakriti, it comes before Prakriti. If Dharma and Adharma are to proceed, अगर धर्म और अधर्म ने पहले आना है प्रकृति पुरुष के सन्निधान से, जिस सन्निधान से सृष्टि होती है, तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि धर्म और अधर्म और इसलिए बुद्धि जो है प्रकृति पुरुष के संयोग से पहले आ जाएगी, और ये हो नहीं सकता क्योंकि बुद्धि जो है प्रकृति पुरुष के संयोग से उत्पन्न होने वाला प्रथम तत्व है. बिकॉज बुद्धि इज द फर्स्ट विकार, फर्स्ट तत्व which emanates, which issues forth from the Prakriti Purusha Sanyoga, conjunction or contact or proximity. Do you follow? So therefore, these two words, Lingaksha and Bhavaksha, this arises from Prakriti Purusha Sannidhana. It's an important karika, but I am sorry I can't dwell upon it in much detail. The Yuktidipika here says, Tatra yatha idam shariram avibhaktam dharmartha kama moksha lakshanasu kriyasu विभक्तम भवेत इत्यतः पाण्यादि विकल्पो अस्य भवति एवं सत्वसर्गोपि अविभक्तो धर्मार्थ काम मोक्ष लक्षणासु क्रियाशी समर्थो भवेत इति. He says, just as shariram avibhaktam. Look, I was talking of body as unity. Avibhaktam, undivided. That means that sharir is not merely an aggregate of all the angas. It's a unity which is constituted out of those angas or of those parts. Avibhaktam. Dharmartha kama mokya lakshanasu kriyasu vibhaktam bhavet. Just as it becomes divided into so many activities like dharma or artha, kama, moksha, etc. And that is why in order to do these things, dharma, artha, etc., body becomes divided into feet, hand, etc., eyes, etc. Isn't it? In order to do dharma also, you need eyes. If you have to visit a temple, for example, if you have to study the Vedas, you need eyes. If you have to do shavana or manana or nididhyasana, you need mind, manas. So body, since it has to pursue so many activities like dharma, artha, kam, etc., it gets divided into, it gets differentiated into so many parts like feet, hands, eyes, nose, etc. Isn't it? They are all parts and they become sense organs later on, right? Similarly, the sattva sarga called evam sattva sargopi avibhakto, the sattva sarga being undivided, dharma artha kama mokha lakshanasu kriyasu asamartho bhaved iti. Similarly, if the sattva sarga is not divided, api avibhakto pi, this is how it's to be understood. Sattva sargopi avibhakto. Similarly, sattva sarga also avibhakto, if it remains undifferentiated, then it can't pursue, it cannot be capable of pursuing the aims like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, etc. Is that clear? So much, right? I will do some more exercise if God willing I come here some other time. And then there is mention of sargas. What kind of sarga takes place? Urdham sattva vishala, tamo vishala stubhudata sarga, madhye rajo vishala. That the middle region of this earth, this is rajo vishala, rajas dominates. The world of gods is dominated by sattva, and the world below, right? The nether region is dominated by tamas, because there is so much lack of intelligence. Brahmadi stamba paryanta. Stamba, you know, tree stump. And then there is this 55 kārikā, tatra jara marana kritam dukkham prapnoti chetana purusha. Come to this 55. Was the full kārikā? Lingasya avinivritte tasmad dukkham samasena. Tat atra jara, tatra or atra? Here it is written tatra. Tatra. Tatra means in this region. Tatra jara marana kritam dukkham prapnoti chetana purusha. Again, you know, death and birth are ascribed to conscious entity. And that means death and birth of the body which a conscious self occupies, happens to occupy. Right? But conscious self suffers when it loses its present embodiment, its present body. It suffers. There is pain. Only very few Mahatmas, very few people, like Chinmayanandaji or like Raman Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramahansa, they do not suffer any pain when they have to leave this body, when this body departs from them. I am personally scared of death. I am scared of losing this body, frankly. Tatra jara marana kritam dukkham. Īśvarakṛṣṇa recognizes that there is pain arising from old age and death. Even if you are otherwise fortunate that you haven't had much suffering in life, this suffering caused by old age, this pain caused by old age and death cannot be avoided. They are inevitable. Prapnoti Chetana Purusha, conscious self, Prapnoti, he suffers. Lingasya avinivritte tasmat dukkham samasena. And then he says, Lingasya avinivritte. Lingasya avritti nivritte or avinivritte. Lingasya avinivritte. Unless the linga sharir departs. Or means not. Nivritti means no departure. So unless the linga sharir departs, when one attains kaivalya, then there is no linga sharir. Because purpose of the linga sharir is to carry the impressions or vasanas of our past deeds. But when we attain liberation, all the consequences which are to arise from our past actions are exhausted. That means our past deeds are exhausted. And exhaustion of past deed means there is no need for another birth. And when there is no need for another birth, the self becomes liberated permanently. Lingasya avinivritte tasmat dukkham samasena. Therefore, samasena dukkham samasena. Therefore, tasmat dukkham samasena. Therefore, dukkha happens to everybody. I am trying to understand the meaning of samasena. No, I says, well, just a moment. This lingasya avinivritte. Lingasya avinivritte means so long as the linga sharir lasts. In the sense of avadhi. Avinivritte. Himalayam. Up to Himalaya. So avinivritte. So long as the linga sharir lasts, tasmat dukkham samasena, dukkha remains. And samas means, Yuktidipika clarifies, tato hi sarva dukkhanam, just a moment before that, samasa grahanam tu sukha moghayo avakasha danartham, anyatha sansare tayo abhava eva abhyupagatah syat. Samas grahana means, the word samas has been used to convey sukha mohayo avakasha danartham. That is, sukha and moha. Sukha and moha find scope. Sukha and moha abhava. The abhava or sukha and moha. I don't know why, no, it should be sukha or dukkha. Sukha, dekh na, sukha mohayo. What's the meaning of this? No, before 56th, before 56th, samasena here means ultimately. Ultimately. See, this can have two senses. This particular path of the karika. This can have two senses. It can mean anivritti. Yes. Sukhaleshasya tadvyaptatvat yavad idam langam na nivartate tavad avashyena dukkhena bhavitam. He says, because unless idam, this lingam, this sukshma sharira, nanivartate, does not depart, tavad avashyam dukkhena bhavati, there must be pain, there must be suffering, or evil in the form of suffering. Paryayana sanskarasya samartyat, that can be ignored. Tatacha sukham cha dukkham chai sanshayam cha varenayam sevate tatta tatta. Katam punar dukkhena vyaptam sukhamiti, etc., etc. This we don't have to do. The point is that unless there is vinivritti of linga sharira, unless there is departure, that is disappearance of linga sharira, dukkha must occur. Dukkha ultimately has to occur. And therefore, if there has to be ultimate final elimination of dukkha, there has to be a departure. Sukshma sharira has to go. And the sukshma sharira has to go, will go only if there is jnana. Vyakta, avyakta and gyavijnana. When we understand the proper distinction, that is when we realize the proper distinction in our day-to-day life, when we act as if we are selves different from the body, only then there comes the possibility of attaining apavarga or liberation, because then we are not treating ourselves as our bodies and our bodies as ourselves. And then there is attainment of, then all the actions are exhausted. Because when there is no mutual attribution, paraspar adhyas, when there is no mutual attribution, all our sense of confusion between the two tattvas, Purusha and Prakriti, goes away. And therewith goes ajnana. And with the disappearance of ajnana arrives kaivalya. Kaivalya is a state. Kaivalya is a state. It can be achieved even while one is living an embodied life. While one has a physical body, a physical frame. Jivan Mukta. The first idea of Jivan Mukta comes to us in Indian philosophical system from Sāṅkhya thought. And then it is adopted by some of the systems like Advaita Vedanta, for example. I'll come to that later. Yes? Any question? He'll come to that. He'll come to that. He says, like chakra, but I'll give you the example of fan. Fan immediately starts moving as you switch on. But when you switch off, fan keeps on moving. Fan keeps on moving for some while. Similarly, physical frame remains for some while, even after you have attained liberation. But you are not affected by it. That is You are not affected by, you don't feel affected by. The whole question is that of feeling. In the first kārikā, the word is dukkha traya vighātāt. Dukkha never goes away. It is the feeling of dukkha that goes away. Dukkha traya vighātāt. When dukkha impinges upon your consciousness, it affects you. If it doesn't affect you, Ramakrishna Paramhans had cancer of the throat, or I don't know, of perhaps of the arm, I don't remember now. But of throat. But he was not affected by it. Not affected. He must be having pain, because so long as body remains united with consciousness, so there is sensation of pain. But he never allowed himself to be overwhelmed by that pain. Dukh ka abhighat nahi ho raha. Eh? Yes, it's a mental thing. It's a mental. And even for example, in the case of martyrs, like Shaheed Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru, right? They were given acute physical suffering, but they would not buckle under the pressure and reveal the names of their comrades. So dukkha is dukkha abhighat. Dukkha never goes. Why does not dukkha ever go? Because there is a rajas. Dukkha is rajas. And rajas never totally disappears. Right? Rajogun never totally disappears. It can be subdued. Right? When you are given anesthesia, so physiologically rajas becomes subdued and you don't feel the pain of any ailment you may be suffering from. Right? You may not be suffering from. You don't feel, any physical pain. That's the reason. So he says, dukkha traya vighātā jigyāsā tatapakkhāta. Ityesha prakriti krita pravartate tattva bhuta bhavaksha pratipurusha vimokshartham swartha iva parartha arambha. Yes, Jaishankar? Yes.
Stula charira, for apavarga and boga, is needed stula charira also, no? Because here is plain about linga charira only.
About?
Sukshma charira. But the stula charira, without stula charira, is not possible to take apavarga.
No. Sthula sharir is not possible without sukshma sharir.
That is true, but to get liberation, also stula charira is needed. Without stula charira, it's not possible.
Of course, there's a need of the body. There's a need of the body. Body plays a very important role. Because even when there is sthula sharira, there is sukshma sharira associated with it. And sukshma sharira or linga sharira consists of mahat, ahankar, ekadashendri and panchatanamati. And all this sukshma sharira, which is in turn associated with a particular self, experiences the fruits of the actions of previous existences through this sthula sharira. Sure. There's no doubt about it. But when through the buddhi we recognize and live as if there is a distinction between Prakriti and Purush, as if we are only selves and not the body which the self happens to occupy, then apavarga is attained, because we are neither confusing the self with the buddhi nor the buddhi with the self. We know they are distinct and they have to remain distinct. And we will not allow ourselves to be overwhelmed, to be overpowered by what happens to the body. Right? Ityesha prakritikata pravartate tattva bhutaksha. So he says, prakritikata, created by Prakriti, prakritikata, authored by Prakriti, krita. She is the author. Prakritikata tattva bhutaksha sargaha pravartate. Sarga is understood. And prakritikata means prakritikata. Tattva, mahadadi tattva. Bhuta, prithvi, jal, tej, vayu, akash, etc. Bhuva. And bhava, dharma, adharma, etc. This triad of this tripartite world, tripartite creation arises from Prakriti. As if Pratipurusha Vimokshartam. And why does creation take place? I have already explained. Pratipurusha Vimokshartam, so that every Purush, every self may achieve liberation. Pratipurusha Vimokshartam, with the sole objective of getting every self its liberation. Swartha iva parartha arambha. Parartha arambha. Prakriti has parartha. Sanghata pararthatvat. Sanghata pararthatvat. This Prakriti has parartha. Prakriti serves the ends of something else, somebody else. And this other entity is Purush. Swartha eva, as if it is its sole interest. Just as sometimes in friendship we help a friend in achieving something as if we are achieving that thing. So we make so much or rather tremendous effort in order to help a friend, as if it is our own. Isn't it? Does it happen or not? Or wife helps a husband, or a husband helps the wife, right, in achieving something, as if it is his own problem, right? As if it is his own problem. And we often do that with our children. So like Prakriti seeks to provide. And seeks to provide how? By creating the world. By creating the world so that Purush will first of all experience it and then seek liberation from it. From the same buddhi, through its modification, the first manifest tattva, buddhi. Is that? Sacha vishinasti puna yata pradhana purushantaram sukshva. This karika we have done. Forgetting, always forgetting. Pratipurusha vimokshartam swartha iva prartha arambha. This effort, arambha means not beginning, this effort. Arambha means prayas. This effort of Prakriti takes place, occurs, happens, because it wants to subserve the interest called moksha of the Purush, of every Purush. And it does it as if it is its own cause, as if its own objective which is trying to achieve. Is that clear? Yes, gentlemen? Is that clear? And gentlewomen? This has been Tattva Bhuta Bhavaksha Ityuktanam Nigamartam Pratyamnayam Karoti Tattvaksho Mahadadir Bhavaksho Dharmadir Bhutaksho Vyomadi Vyoma Akash Prithvi Jal Tej Vayu Akash Purusham Prati Vimoksha Pratipurusha Vimoksha. Tad artham pratipuksh vimokshartam. Sarva Purushadhikara Nibaddhaya Sarva Shakti Nirakankshi Karanartham Ityartham. Swartha iva parartha arambha karya karana bhaveda. Tatra karyasya tavat shabdadi swartha iva indriyanam vishay bhava. Karyasya tavat shabdadi, shabd etc. which we know, that is swartha iva indriyanam. Indriyas know the objects as if it is their own swartha, though they know it for the sake of the Purush. Paraspara kuta hetukim tvasam swam swam pratipadyante paraspara kuta hetukam dittim. Na kenachit, I've forgotten that. Na kenachit karya purushartha eva hetur na kenachit karyate karna. This karika we have done. Purushartha. Why do indriyas try to know the objects? Some material would say, well, it is their nature. But somebody who sees a meaning behind creation, he would say that creation achieves its end, that is the bhoga and apavarga of the self through indriyas. First we enjoy and then we seek liberation from what we enjoy, because what we enjoy gives us pain because of our attachment to it. Is that clear to you? Then is 57, important. Vatsa vivriddhi nimittam kshirasya yatha pravritti agyasya purusha vimoksha nimittam tatha pravritti pradhanasya. Then Sankhyakarika becomes poetic. Very good analogy. Very good analogy. Vatsa vivriddhi nimittam kshirasya. Just as a cow's mother, no, a cow's milk arises in the cow for nourishing the calf. Vatsa vivriddhi, for sustaining and nourishing the calf. Vatsa vivriddhi nimittam, for the sake of nourishing or sustaining the calf, there arises milk, right? And the cow, kshirasya yatha pravritti, agyasya, the cow, not that cow desires it, that is, cow is not conscious. That is, cow is a conscious creature, of course, but the cow does not consciously will that there be milk in its breasts, right? It doesn't will, but it automatically comes, because the purpose of the milk, that is, milk is a creation. Milk is creation out of the cow, out of the ignorant cow. Agyasya does not mean insentient or unconscious, but out of the ignorant cow. Vatsa vivriddhi nimittam, so that its calf may be nourished and sustained. Purusha vimoksha nimittam tatha pravritti pradhanasya. Similarly, there is a pravritti, there is activity in pradhana, in prakriti. Purusha vimoksha nimittam, so that the Purush can get liberated. Prakriti is agya. That is here a meaning, a teleology, a purposiveness is being attributed to unconscious Prakriti. That this meaning is hidden in Prakriti. And Purush sees, Purush takes advantage, that is, makes full use of this meaning of Prakriti. Like, for example, I as a self makes full use of the body that is given to me, though the body may not be knowing that it is meant for the Purush. but I know that it is meant for me and I try to make full use of it. So many great men make full use of their body to attain great ends which are not materialistic ends. Which are not materialistic ends, which are spiritual ends, which are moral ends, which are ethical ends, but they use their body which is material. Isn't it? Isn't that the case? And we too use it. We use the body to reflect. We use the body to gain knowledge. Knowledge of philosophy. Knowledge of mathematics. Mathematics is not bhautika. Mathematics is not material. Right? Philosophy is not material. Study of philosophy. Study of philosophy becomes possible because we have consciousness and because we can reflect through the manas. And manas is material because it arises from the material prakriti. So we have to use our body for better ends rather than just for the sake of carnal pleasures, worldly pleasures. They will come to us. We need worldly pleasures too. If we have a body, we need worldly pleasures too. But there's a limit up to that. There's a limit to that. We have to do that only up to a degree, only in a measure. We can't, na to wo aata hai, what comes? Na tu kama nam upabhog. Yes, there is the line, na tu kama nam upabhogena shamyati. Isn't it? Desire. If we keep on pursuing desires one after another, there is no end to our satisfaction. I am watching in Delhi, there is a competition in our block, in the block in which I live. There is a competition. Oh, he has got a Mercedes. I too should have it. Do you need Mercedes? If you need a simple car, okay, buy a 5-6 lakh rupees, a car of 5-6 lakh rupees cost, and it's enough for you. It's a competition. And the consequence is that there are more cars than there are men or women living in that block. One person living has 4 cars. One person living or 2 persons living in one house, and that house has 4 cars. And there's no space. That is why I am unable to appreciate why some economists emphasize the great achievement of someone like Dr. Manmohan Singh. He allowed production of cars, immense production of cars in the country, so that people can spend. People can spend upon some other things which may be more fruitful. Isn't it? People don't spend on books. Books are not that costly as cars are. Car costs you, normal car, Wagner, etc., it costs you 4-5 lakh. 4-5 lakh, you can have a very good library. But you won't have it. You means not you. You means anybody else who prefers one thing to another. They wouldn't have it. They would have nothing to do with it. Tatha pravritti pradhanas. And Yuktidipika says, Yatha kshiram achetanam agyasya. I says, achetan kshir. Kshiram achetanam. Vatsa vivriddhim uddishya. Making vatsa vivriddhi its object, pravartate, proceeds, comes out. Evam pradhanam api purusha vimoksham uddishya pravartate. Similarly, pradhan also proceeds, that is, proceeds towards his creation. Proceeds to create, that is, creates. The word keeping in mind the liberation of every self. Nachasa chaitanyam sat, and Prakriti is not Chaitan. Prakriti is Agya, right? Is not conscious. "58 is easy, so I will leave it." Almost the same theme is repeated. Then 59. This is again, though 58 is also an important karika, but this is easy, so I am leaving it. Rangasya darshayitva nivartate nartaki yatha nrityat purushasya tathatmanam prakasya vinivartate prakriti. Now comes the world as a stage, creation as a stage, the world as a stage where the dance of creation takes place, where creation takes place as a dance of Prakriti. Prakriti dances on the stage, and its dance is creation. Leela. Leela. Dance is sport. Rangasya darshayitva nivartati nartaki yatha nrityat. Just as a dancer, after showing her dance, rangasya to the audience. Ranga means the audience. Darshayitva, showing its dance to the audience, then departs from the stage. Purushasya tathatmanam prakasya vinivartati prakriti. Similarly, Prakriti revealing itself, after revealing itself, Purushasya darshanartha. Panguvad uvayob apisarga. Purusha darshanartha kaivalyartha tatha pradhanasya. Connect these kārikās with what has gone before, and you will understand the meaning. Take 4 months or 5 months to study Sāṅkhyakārikā, whether with a commentary or without a commentary. And don't be bound by any commentary. The Yuktidīpikā is for me the most important commentary. I would not allow myself to be bound by this kārikā's interpretation of Īśvarakṛṣṇa Sankhyakarika. If some other interpretation strikes me as equally valid, if not more valid, I will go with that. Right? Purushasya tathatmanam prakasya vinivartati prakriti. Similarly, creation for every self, after Prakriti has revealed itself, its true nature, that here, see, I am a dancer. I am Prakriti. And this is my true nature. In vain you got confused that you were involved in the dance. In fact, you are alone. You have nothing to do with the dance. This is my dance. This is my dance. You have nothing to do with the dance. You better remain a spectator, and a lonely spectator. Lonely, who has nothing to do with me. Just as after watching a film and swayed by the emotions that take place in the film, and then the film ends and we realize that we were different. We were not that character. We were not that Dilip Kumar of that film. Which was that film? Devdas, right? Or Shameen in Malayalam, Shameen. I only saw Shameen once when I was 23. There was a film called Shameen in Malayalam. I saw that. So Purush realized, so Prakriti tells Purush. Prakriti tells Purush, it's not your dance. It's not your dance. You vainly thought, you futilely thought You falsely believed that it was your dance and you were involved in it. No, you are just a spectator. You are just a spectator. You have nothing to do with this dance which is enacted, which is being enacted on the world stage. And then Purusha realizes, oh, I am different from her, Prakriti. I am different from Prakriti. And when he comes to realize, not simply cognitive know, but comes to realize, to live as if he is alone, as if he is isolated, then he realizes. He not realize. I don't like the word realize. Self-realization is a much abused word. So I don't like to use this word very often. But sometimes I have to put across the substance of the meaning. And Yuktidipika te tatra nana varna subhava vijnananam preksharthinam purusham sanghato ranga ityuchyate. What is ranga? Is the auditorium. Ranga, auditorium. Purushanam sanghata, where so many selves get together to watch a dance, to watch a film, for example, and here to watch the dance of Prakriti. Nana varna sabhava vijnananam, who have different colors, different shades, different minds, sabhava, different dispositions, vijnananam, and different knowledges, different understandings, different temperament, and so on. You can see the meaning that Yuktidipika gives of it. Then I move on to then there is no commentary upon 61, 62, 63 by Yuktidipika. And we come to 64. What is this? Evam tatyabhya, yes, sorry, yes. Evam tatvabhyasat nasmi name naham it aparishesham aviparnayad vishuddham kevalam utpaddate jnanam. Look at this kārikā. I'm sorry, I'll be repeating again some of the things I've already said. But look at the kārikā. Evam tattvabhyasad. Abhyas. Yes, please. Oh, I'm sorry.